Sony possibly experimenting with dynamic pricing. In a rather odd turn of events, the PlayStation Store may be rolling out dynamic pricing for certain games. Especially Astro Bot appears to be the target of this experiment. I first noticed that the game was discounted a few days ago on the mobile app. I was surprised that this sale was not advertised on major video games website. Curious, I went onto my browser and searched for the game on the PlayStation Store. While being signed out, it was $59.99. I signed in and it appeared as $44.99. That was what's been said about a year ago. But then a couple of days ago, under PlayStation thread on Reddit, this appeared. Was excited to finally purchase until I realized the price was lower on my wife's account. They actually took a screenshot and this is what it shows. Red Dead Redemption 2 Ultimate Edition, $19.99 on his account, and on his wife's account it's $14.99. It's a $5 difference. My wife doesn't play much, and so buying it on her account may not be the best decision to keep everything easily accessible for me. Seeing this soured me on buying it quite a bit. And for reference, same region, same PlayStation, same currency. So I tried to look for it on my PlayStation. It's not coming up. Maybe it's not available in Australia region, so I can't see it. However, according to this screenshot, the dude has to pay more because he's the kind of guy who plays this type of game. So they're showing them a higher price, whereas his wife doesn't play this type of game, so it's cheaper for her. It's a very unfair thing to do for gamers. It's not very gaming friendly. The whole gaming industry considered, and if you look at different types of gamers, they exist within different bubbles, right? You have your RPG players, you have your MMO players, you have your gacha games players, online hardcore shooter players. They can overlap. They can definitely overlap. However, you have different types of players in the gaming industry and a set of games that cater to those gamers. When dynamic pricing comes into play, you're literally targeting gamers who love to play a certain type of games and asking them to pay more just because they like that type of game. You're putting the prices down for gamers who are not playing those type of games generally. From a business perspective, a brilliant idea. That way you actually make sure that you make more sales, because if you're putting the price down for players who don't normally play that type of game and they see a much cheaper price, they have more incentive to buy it. Whereas if you're putting the price up for a gamer who already play these type of games, it doesn't really matter. They would buy it anyway. So you get more money out of that sale. It's very unfair for the gamers. This is just another way to rip off your customers and be very anti-consumer. They haven't confirmed anything, but it looks like they are quietly testing this out in the back end, and we're seeing this now. I'm really hoping that people really speak up about it, raise their concerns and voice against this, because I really don't think this should be the norm moving forward. I really don't think this should be allowed to happen. It's just not fair for the gamers, and gaming companies, especially notoriously right now with Xbox, right? I think it kind of started with Nintendo with the Nintendo Switch 2's release, where they were just, overcharging people for the console. They were overcharging people for the games, and people were literally giving them a pass for it. Literally, people were literally like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, no, I'll still buy it. I did saw like an article a couple of days ago that they have sold like so many Nintendo Switches already. So yeah, people like, yeah, okay, it's Nintendo, I'm just gonna buy it anyway. So it's literally like COD every year. Yeah, COD is literally the same shit every single year, but people keep buying them anyway. It's like that with Nintendo. Nintendo is gonna Nintendo, like I always say, and people just keep giving them a pass. And then Xbox extended this with their recent price hikes across both games and consoles and their Game Pass. It's very anti-consumer. It's really pushing patience levels of gamers, and especially in this economy as well. In the global economy is gone to shit. People really are struggling, and gaming is already an expensive habit to maintain for most people. People do it because they really love games. Regardless of like how much they're struggling, people really try to keep up that habit because how much they love playing games. But it is not a very light habit. It is a very expensive and time-consuming habit. So you do have to make a choice between how much time you're consuming, where you could be making money or doing something else, opposed to, spending money and spending that time playing games. It is a trade-off that you're always going to have to make as a gamer, especially if you're a casual gamer. And then to have to, for these, multi-trillion dollar companies to go and raise their prices and then ask for more money in this economic climate, it is very anti-consumer. Sony is no exception for this, for doing this dynamic pricing. They have not made a point to actually make an announcement about it, but they're doing it quietly, which I think is a little more evil. I just don't think these kind of practices should be allowed. People really need to like stand up against this kind of thing. But it is getting harder. It is getting harder right now because we're moving away from physical discs more towards a digital only future, which is giving these companies more and more control because of that. That's unfortunately where we're at. I don't really know how this is going to pan out. We still haven't heard this sort of practices in other clients like Steam or Epic Game Store or anywhere else where PC is concerned. But then again, I don't think it will happen because you do have a lot of ways to buy games on PC. A lot of digital stores with a lot of discounts that way. You can buy games, whereas consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, they're kind of locked into their own ecosystem with the PlayStation Store thoroughly and purely controlled by Sony. So you can't really buy outside of that. The only way you can do that is if you buy from like EB Games or GameStop or JB Hi-Fi or somewhere else, right? If you're moving to a digital only future, you're taking that choice away from the gamers too. So that means you're purely locked into whatever the prices that Sony, PlayStation would set for you with this dynamic pricing. Someone else could be buying that game cheaper than you because they don't play that game as much as you, but you end up paying more because you love those games. Does that sound fair? Definitely not. Definitely not. I just don't think it should be a thing. Let me know what you guys think if you're watching this later on a YouTube video. It's a crazy future that we move into, and I just don't think it should be allowed.